Okay guys, so welcome back in. Like I said, the next deck was gonna be like a Nero zombie based deck. I haven't seen a lot of Nero decks in general. I used to like playing Nero for free and he's really fun, on free play and he's really fun, so I decided to try to base something around Hey Nico. I think that art's underappreciated, so I wanted to do that, but this is not Nero, this is Jill, so let me get in and get you going here. So we'll just do edit deck to do that. Scroll down, see I have a lot of decks. Where's my Nero deck? So I call it Nico Zombie. Let's take a look. So it's the base zombie shell that you've been seeing with, like, even in the past on my other video, my Jill Ultimate Weapon zombie deck. You're seeing this splashed a lot into Zero with Rakoha. You're just seeing this shell a lot in general, so I tried to put like a little bit of a Nero spin on it. A little bit of a green spin. Green's kind of hard to work with the Revenge deck, I think, because of the Revenge, and you don't want to buff the units if they're just going to die and get Revenge. You would want to buff them when they come out later, but you can't guarantee when, blah 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 blah. So that's why I went with Hey Nico. Just in general, for people that don't know, Hey Nico gives you 3 random acts. It gives you I'm gonna butcher this, but it's Gerbera, Ragtime, and Tomboy. So there's that. So let's go over the deck. I want a little bit of low cost. I want to get memory going, so I start with Defensive Stance. It gives shield to any green hero. I did this because it does. You are going to get hit a little bit more, and it's a 1 cost, so you could burn some memory by using it, protecting your hero. So I put that in there. The next card is Disarm. Standard in any green, I think. If you're not going to run Teetsy, or if you're splashing things in and you don't have the unit space, Disarm's good, and inflict seals on an enemy unit. So it basically removes their abilities. Really helpful. I run that at 3. Again, run Defensive Stance at 3. They're just actions to get things out, to churn out memory. Also, they're kind of effective in helping you out. Doll's memory is pretty good. At least I think it is. I know some people don't think it is, but I do. +1, -4, but then at memory 7 it's +4, +4. So I've used this different ways. I've used it as a destruction card on enemy units if they're less than 4 HP, or if they're, or if my unit's about to hit them and they're at like 6 and my unit's attack is 2, I'll use this on them. Probably lose my unit, but I'm going to get rid of one of their bigger units. But at memory 7 it's +4, +4. You can use it on the beater cards in this deck, which there's 2. This deck is more like an overwhelm deck, but yeah, then we'll go over the next parts. So then we use Killer Bee Strike Cammy. There was space for 1 extra beater type unit, so I decided to use Cammy. She's decent. She's been mostly used in Akuma and Ouroboros decks, in that shell, the Revive shell. She works really well there. She works decent here. I've only got to use her a couple times to her full potential, but when I've used her, she's done very well. She has anti-air, memory, and at memory 4, she gains +1/+1 for each action card in your hand in your EX pocket. And then also at memory 7, she gains heavy pierce and agility. With Hey Nico, I thought that was the best option to use for Cammy with the green hero. Hey Nico gives you the cards. You load up your EX pocket. Hopefully you load up your hand. You at least hopefully get at least +3/+3, which would make her a 5/8. And with heavy pierce and agility, that's not bad. But there's been times where she's been the only unit in my hand. I've had all actions and my EX pocket was full, and she's helped out there because she gives you what? +6/+6, so she'd be an 8/11 with heavy pierce and agility. That's pretty good. Again, she's situational. She's not there all the time, but she's situational. Mad Massacre, it's a 1 cost card, destroys a friendly black unit, then deals 5 split amongst enemy units. This activates Revenge. It saves you from effects like Seal or even Blockade, that removes a unit's abilities and removes it from the game, things like that. I run 2 because I wanted to run Hatred Reborn and stuff like that. I could probably run it at 3 and remove another Disarm, but it's been working the way this has been going. Hatred Reborn places a random unit in your graveyard with the MP cost of 3 or less onto the field really helps in this deck to get the next couple units I'll show you back onto the field to always keep unit pressure on the field, and it builds up memory. Zombie, basic zombie card, basic revenge card. It's a really good card because on death you gain 1 MP. You keep going, and on revenge it gains +2 attack, so it's 5/2 on revenge at a 2 cost. Not bad. Very good, and it still would give you that +1 MP on death even on the revenge. Uni on death gains you +1 MP. Again, as you can tell, this is what this deck is trying to do, is constantly keep you up with MP. I like Uni. Gate's a really good card that came out of Haunted by Memories. At growth 3, he gains death +1 MP, or on death he gains +1 MP, and then the cool part about him, if you can get him there, sometimes you can't, most of the time you can't, but if you can, if you get him to level 3, he's +4/+4 and death on attack. So the way you want to try to use that is if you have an opening to 1, take out the enemy's beater, or 2, do heavy 6 face damage to the enemy. He'll be destroyed. Hopefully then you use Hatred Reborn to bring him back and keep his cycle going. This card's still broken. I'm sorry. I hate being the opponent on this side of the card, but I love using this card. Fate of the Unworthy destroys an enemy unit with an MP cost of 4 or less without the Ascend status and deals 1 damage to the enemy hero. Ascend meta is not as prevalent as it was before. You'll still see some decks with it. You see, like, I've seen some Ryu decks running it. I've seen, every now and then you'll see a Chun-Li running it. Akuma still runs it because of Raging Demon and stuff, but again, this is still a good card. It removes units, especially against Charge Slot X. Goodbye, X. I'll see you later. You can't do anything about it unless you send them back to your EX pocket. I run it at 2. This card I think is very underappreciated. I run it in all my Black Splash decks. Bloodbath Frenzy. You sacrifice 2 life and it gives a unit +1/+2. But at memory 2, that a unit gets additional +1/+1, so it becomes a +2/+3 and spillover. And at memory 4, additionally the unit performs an instant attack. This is like a game ender for me, or hey, I'm gonna hit you for heavy damage, or I'm gonna wipe your field. I don't see a lot of people using this card. Like I said, I splash it in every red, black, green, black, purple, black deck I make, even in my solo black decks, which I don't run solo black very often because, to be honest, I'm not very good with black, solo mono black. But I don't see people run this a lot. I do. It's just a quick damage. You'll see some people like endgame try to get fancy and initiate actions that are gonna buff up their unit to like where they think they're untouchable, and then I'll drop this card on the unit in front of it and I'll instant attack it to death. Underappreciated, but I think I like running it. Then the other revenge card I run is T002 Tyrant. On death, it destroys all units with 1 attack or less. It's very good against green. You could drop it in front of the mana batteries, and all of them have 1 attack, so it kills them unless they're buffed up. And on revenge, it gains +8 HP, which is ridiculous because it comes back onto the field as a 2-cost 4/9 and still has the death ability. Very good card. I see it a lot still, actually. I was gonna say I don't see it, but I do see it a lot in a lot of black decks. And the last card is Civilization Rebel Sigma. He has infinite revenge and he gains +2/+4, and if revenge is triggered 8 or more times, he gains +3/+3 and heavy pierce. He's kind of, him and Cammy are kind of like the beater designs of this deck, but this deck doesn't need, I don't think this deck really needs beaters, but it's there. So that's this deck. I like it a lot. Sigma, I've actually never really activated his ability a lot. I've won a lot of games with units like Gate, or the Tyrants won me some. Even Zombies got some final hits for me using the power of Bloodbath Frenzy. Cammy's won a couple games. This deck is just all... It's just a field swarm. You're constantly throwing things on the field. You're constantly keeping up pressure. So it's a pressure deck. It's more my style. And if you can't get things going, if you get things in hand like defensive stance, throw it on. It's a cycle. Just one cost to shield the hero. One more time, you've activated 2 of Bloodbath Frenzy's memory or 2 of Cammy's memories. Things like that. So I think it's really good. So that's the deck. So what I'm going to do is we're going to jump over to the video now. I've recorded, again, these are pre-new season because I hadn't had a chance to record the audio before the season ended. So you're going to see my points up higher. But again, like you see here, I'm still at I just got the champion yesterday because I haven't been able to grind that much. But so yeah, we'll jump over to the videos. And again, those were recorded last season, but I still think it applies because we're still on the same meta. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, so here we are. We're going to start right here. This is the Nico zombie deck again. So let's go over it. Let me hit play real quick. So this game is against a high-ranked Jill at the time. Again, if you get units in the hand, I don't. If you get at least 1 unit in the hand, I don't mulligan with this. So initially just start dropping cards to cycle that MP going. I'm saving Fate of the Unworthy in case she puts down like a Nash because I don't know what she's quite running. But here we go. So I'm going to use Hatred to hopefully bring back, that's what I was hoping, to hopefully bring back Uni. As you can see, I have a Cammy in hand. Now it's just a matter of trying to build up some memory so I can use her. Have a disarm here. So what I'm going to try to do is bait him into using a card to get Lucia going, and then I'm going to seal her right off the bat. So he fell for my plan. I think this works a lot for me is because I am a Jill main, so I do know how Jills try to cycle. I do an instant 5 damage using that, and then I use a Hey Nico, and I get the 12 damage card. I drop Sigma in front. I want to get him going. I want to get him cycling. She's got 3 memory at this point, or 3 explores, and as you can see, I used Gate's ability down at the bottom to do that quick 6. She axles my Sigma, so then I use the card, and then I'm going to seal him. So she wasted Axel, but things happen. As you can see, I'm cycling through right now to use the memory count. And I have another Hey Nico coming up, so I have another card. But I don't have a lot of actions in my pocket, or in my hand, so I'm going to try to throw out units to get a little bit more actions. But I see that Carlos is getting big, so I'm just like, I'm going to get rid of him. She's just leaving Sigma alone, which bugs me. Here comes Leon. I have Tomboy kind of holding on to it to use on Cammy. That was the idea. It's a weird idea, but she's going to do that. I'm going to use Tomboy, and I get a huge buff. So I'm able to survive the hit, and then I'm going to be able to at least finish off the Leon and finish the game. So that's how that one works. I got lucky with the +8 if I didn't get that. Here's against a top rank Nergigante with Spike Launch. Again, I have 1 unit in hand. I'm playing it. I'm going to run through this with 1 unit in hand because I don't want to cycle and get no units because this deck does have more actions. But yeah, so we're cycling through. I don't like the idea of having not like all the actions right off the bat because I do want to use memory. But I'm gonna let this I'm gonna seal a Sigma, which is pretty awesome. And here's the example of using Agent's memory against, or Doll's memory against an opponent, where I removed the gate right off the bat. His Sigma is now null and void. It's sealed. The Urzen drop sucks, but I did get in the Hey Nico the 12 damage card, so there goes his Urzen, and that kind of messes up his whole game at this point. You can tell he's now struggling to get through. But he does use the Selfish Predation, or Predation, I should say. So yeah, we're just cycling cards through now. I see I have Cammy in hand, so I'm just trying to get stuff up. He likes to remove my cards. I like to remove his. It's a thing. So now this is what I'm talking about when you get the Cammy look. I got 4 cards plus Cammy, so she's gonna come out pretty soon, or maybe not. Um, I don't want him to load the field when I start seeing that, so I do that, and I just drop her. At this point, the agility is gonna get me through, and it doesn't because he does get the spike launch, but we're still hanging in it. And then he uses the Alexia, which does the damage to him, which ends his game. That was a weird cycle game. So here's against a Shadowblade Morgan. You don't see these anymore since she got nerfed, but they're still out there. I don't like Cammy in the opening hand because she kind of just takes up a slot because I'm not going to use her for a while, but I luckily get a gate in the cycle. I want to just kind of just let this Dante do something and then I seal him. I could bring Uni back here, and I'm going to, and hopefully he drops in front of Dante to just do some damage, but she doesn't, so I'm going to at least hit for 4. But, you know, things happen. So then we're going to try to remove cards at least. But she uses that thing. And then again, another example of using that +4, -4 to remove an enemy, more of a threat. She has Shadowblade. She could use it anytime she wants. I'm not bothered by it. And here's me just trying to get Sigma cycling. I do have a good hand for Cammy, but she steals Sigma, so I'm kind of a little upset at that, but I'll seal him. There's nothing she could do about it if he's sealed. She can't continue to use him, and then I'm just going to remove the field. Again, in a perfect world, I would have been able to drop Cammy and go ham, but that's the thing with Cammy is she's not as consistent as people would like. Because of the memory cost, it's pretty steep to get her to be where you want her. So if you're stuck with opening hand with her, it's kind of shitty. But here we are. I decided to drop her. I have everything set up, and now it's just time to roll. Hopefully, I'm finger crossing she doesn't have a brainwash because she's been showing only purple. She's a mono purple, you can tell. So, luckily, she hasn't used it, and I have Cammy able to roll, and she wins the second game. So, like I said, she does win a lot of games in this deck, just the way she works. Next game's against a Hey Nico. I couldn't find very many quality games like that recorded well. I had an X Charge Shot game that I just dominated the game with, but it recorded really awkwardly, and with an update, you know, we lost all the previous video, so I couldn't re-record it. But here's against a Hey Nico. Just gonna start cycling cards through, and again I get Cammy early, which is not an issue. Again, she just takes up a slot in the pocket until you can get at least 4 memory up. And by then, you've already wasted a lot of your cards. I don't want him to double shield, so I decided to seal and then do damage, which is... I got lucky there that he continued the cycle. If he didn't continue the cycle, then she would have just still been up. But we're here. We're using Hey Nico's. We're going. We're rolling. So he drops the X. I don't have the Fate card that I wanted to use. But I was able to get heavy 6 damage up front to him by having Gate hit. So here I'm just waiting a little bit. Use Hatred. That's going to give me at least a unit on the field. I'll use it again to get another unit on the field, and I know I see I get a disarm, so X is getting disarmed immediately. No more health gain for X. I still have a lot of actions, so I know I could drop Cammy pretty safely here. I decided to buff up Gate just because at this point I'm like, dude, let's just roll. But he halts Gate, but at least Gate's a +9, 8 now, or he's a 9-8 now. And I feel confident I'm sitting in a good spot, so I drop Cammy and I use another. I should have maybe used another action first, but I didn't. Hindsight, he drops his Cammy to match mine. we both pull the same Hey Nico card. So I'm praying all my units live. I get 6. We both lose Cammy, but whatever. So I'm going to remove X so he can't do the damage to me. Because there's no X to do damage. And that's the game. So that's how it works. The deck's pretty fun to just cycle. Here is the QR code, so everybody, thank you for watching, like, subscribe. I'll probably do, I don't know what video I'm going to do next. I'm thinking about doing another Jill, and we're going to restart the video apparently. Yeah, but I'm thinking about doing another Jill, so let me know. Thank you guys, have a good one, bye.